I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta make the city move. Like, whoa. I make the city move. I got the move.
So the Philadelphia 76ers are coming off a second round loss to the Boston Celtics. There has been a lot of talk of what they should do next, and I feel like it's necessary for me to give my opinion on it. In today's video, I will be talking about the series, the ridiculous claims some people have said and made about this team after the second round loss, and then talk about what they should do this offseason. Settle in, I have a lot to talk about. But before we begin, I need to give a quick shout out to NBA Mix. Normally I won't give shout outs, but this guy is one of my closest friends in real life and he just started up. So I'll leave a link to his channel in the description and an annotation at the end of the video. Him and I would greatly appreciate it if you could get his channel up and running, it means a lot. If you are new and enjoyed the video, subscribe for more NBA content. But with that being said, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. First of all, let's talk about the series. The Boston Celtics dominated, going up 3-0 and looked unstoppable. I do admit, it was a great series, but some things people said really got on my nerves and I'm here to talk about that. The first thing is that some people, not all, keep that in mind before getting angry at my opinion, said that the 76ers were a disappointment in this series. Yes, the series went a lot quicker than many expected, but let's take a look at the roster. The two stars on the Philadelphia 76ers are a sophomore player and a rookie, who only entered the playoffs for the first time in their career this season. I mean, come on, what were you expecting? A lot of people had these guys going to the finals. People raised their expectations for Philly so much that it makes them look like a disappointment, even though we should be celebrating how far they've come, ever since the infamous process started. And I think the real reason people had such high expectations for Philadelphia was because of their record, 52-30. But to be honest, it really shouldn't have been this good. The 76ers just went on a 16-game winning streak to finish the season, so just say they lost 5 of those games, then they're now a 47-win team and a 6th seed in their Eastern Conference. You really have to put things into perspective. I know a lot of you are thinking right now, but what about the Celtics? They had no Kyrie or Hayward, and Smart was gone for half the series too. Yes, it's true, the Celtics had a weakened roster, but they still had a better roster than the 76ers did. They have a former All-Star in Al Horford who's had heaps of playoffs experience. Again, I know Joel Embiid and Simmons are basically All-Stars, but neither of them have any playoffs experience. Most of the Celtics roster has playoffs experience. Horford, Rozier, Marcus Smart, Greg Monroe. Who has experience on the 76ers? JJ Redick? Like, come on now, you can't ignore that fact. Lights can get too bright for the first timers in the playoffs and they can underperform, which leads me to my next thing I want to talk about. Ben Simmons is a top Rookie of the Year candidate and he may even win it this year. He's had a phenomenal season. Or a phenomenal regular season only, to some. Apparently to some, not all, he underperformed in the playoffs, and yeah, it's true, in a couple of games he made some costly mistakes and one game only got 1 point. But let's not forget he's still a rookie. He's not a superstar with years and years of NBA and playoff experience. He hasn't played even 100 games yet. Yeah, he needs to learn from these mistakes, but people are going way too hard on him off of these couple of instances. You can't learn if you don't make mistakes. It's a crucial part of life and growing up. In the playoffs, he scored more points, averaged more rebounds, and averaged almost identical assists to his regular season averages. So I really don't see how he underperformed, to be honest. Let's take a step away from the playoffs for a moment. Let's take a look at the regular season, in particular, the regular season awards. Hear that? Regular season awards. That means the playoffs have no effect on the end result. So I need to stop hearing that Ben Simmons' 1-point game is going to cost points for the Rookie of the Year, because that was a playoff game. And while we're on the topic of the Rookie of the Year, let's take a look at the debate that's been sweeping the globe for the last 6 months. Should Ben Simmons be classified as a rookie? I honestly don't know why this is a discussion. Google's definition of a rookie is a member of a sports team in their first full season. Ben Simmons did not play a single minute of regular season basketball last season. Therefore, this is his rookie season, as it is his first full season. If he had played one or more games last season, then no, he wouldn't have been a rookie this year. But since he didn't, he is. And if your only argument for him not winning the Rookie of the Year is because he's technically not a rookie, even though he technically is, then you basically have no arguments at all. That is just a dumb reason to use. And the final thing I want to talk about Ben Simmons is his jump shot, and what Kobe Bryant said. Obviously this year, Ben Simmons knew his jump shot was bad, so he took almost 0 shots from outside the paint. Obviously, if he wants to become a better player in the league, he needs to improve this. Kobe Bryant said the best way to improve it is by starting anew, but I don't think that's the right route, and thankfully, neither does Simmons. It's smart not to start all over. Look at what happened to Markelle when he tried to change his jump shot. I know, Kyrie changed his and became one of the league's top scorers, but you have to take both sides in, the pros and the cons. Minor changes will be fine. But with that being said, what should the Philadelphia 76ers do next? There has been so many rumors and reports on who and what they are targeting. Philly's GM came out and said they are looking for stars to pair up with Simmons and Embiid, so I think it's a good time to get into these, because some of them are really interesting. The first one I want to get into is a new rumor that came out over the last few days. That is, the 76ers will try to trade for Kawhi Leonard if he becomes available. To me, that's absolutely insane. I never really expected them to go after him, and I honestly don't think it'd be a great idea to go after him too. I don't think Kawhi would fit into the 76ers system as well as some other players, which I'll mention later. And the biggest problem for the 76ers is who they should give up in the trade. The problem isn't really who they should give up, it's more if they can give up anyone. Because at this point in time, it doesn't really look like the 76ers could send anything valuable in return to the Spurs for Kawhi Leonard. They obviously won't give up Simmons or Embiid. I've seen some trade rumors going around where they trade Markelle Fultz with some veterans, but even that doesn't seem like enough, and I don't think any team is trusting Markelle Fultz at this point. So that's really sending this Kawhi trade rumor down the drain. But I don't understand why the Sixers would want to do this deal when their best options are in free agency. Kawhi is a good last resort option, but the two players I'm about to talk about are a lot better. Player number 1 is Paul George. After a rough season on OKC, it's clear that his 1-year rental there may be up. Of course, there are rumors for him going to LA, but if I'm honest, Philly may be the better option. Unless LA do something crazy and sign Cousins or trade for Kawhi to lure him in, then I'm going to be honest and say that Philly is the better option. The 76ers young core is far more developed than LA's. They are literally coming off a second round exit in their first playoff season since 2012. If Paul George wants to win and wants to win now, then Philly is his best option, even above Houston too. LA and Houston are in the West, where it is far more stacked and the chances of winning over there are slim, simply because of the Warriors. But Philadelphia is in the East, and the best team over there is Boston and maybe Cleveland if LeBron stays. But if PG wants the best opportunity to compete for a ring, it's in Philadelphia. PG is 28 right now, and is right in the middle of his prime. This means if he waits 3 or so years in LA to compete, then he'll be out of it, and won't be putting the same type of output as he would if he joined Philadelphia right now. And Philly should try get him too. Obviously, they'll be wanting LeBron first, who wouldn't? But PG is clearly a second best option. They get him in free agency, so they don't have to come up with some crazy deal to try snatch him. They just need to make a good pitch and tell George all the benefits of coming to Philadelphia. Last year, I made a video saying that PG to the Lakers could become a dynasty. But if PG goes to Philly, then the chance of a dynasty happening is even likelier. It really comes down to one thing though: how much Paul George wants to win. If he wants to win right now, go to Philly. If he wants to win right now but play in a tougher competition, go to Houston. And if he wants to go home and play there and settle for a 5 to 10 seed for the next few years, go to LA. But in the end, it's really up to him. And finally, LeBron James. I'm really not going to spend too much time on him, considering what I just said about Paul George applies for him too. If you are Philly, then you are going to want to pursue LeBron James as much as you can, because he is going to bring you the most success to your team. Unfortunately though, every team will be pursuing LeBron James, so it may be a difficult task to get him. But the 76ers are frontrunners for him, so who knows, maybe they will sign him. If they do, I guarantee there will be a lot of rings coming to Philly in the near future. But again, there are so many opportunities for LeBron all over the states. It's going to be hard to choose, but with Philly's fantastic young core and brilliant management, I have no doubt in my mind that this team can make a pretty good run at him. So to conclude, Philadelphia should try get PG-13 and LeBron James in free agency and Kawhi Leonard as a last resort. And also, I think it's time we stop hearing those ridiculous arguments for why the 76ers playoff run was a disappointment, because it really was not. But what do you guys think? What's next for the Philadelphia 76ers? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.
I still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you. It's to the point where I love and I hate you, and I cannot change you, so I must replace you. Oh, easier said than done. I thought you were the one listening to my heart instead of my head. You found another one.